Closer look at him, and that just adds to the intrigue here down the stretch. Hall, boy, thought about it, now tosses to the end zone.
Hold up, timeout. There's no no freaking way you're losing to the Jets right now? Seriously? The New York Jets? The only winless team in football? The team that has the coach that's on dumb decisions every single week? The team that has an owner that doesn't like the quarterback that's currently playing right now? Those New York Jets? If you told me I'd be making a video about this game, I'd ask what Aaron Glenn did this time to one-up himself in the previous weeks. But to his credit, he pushed all the right buttons here, and the Jets are in front by 1 as a result. Now, the onus shifts to this man right here that you've been watching this entire time, Zac Taylor. You're not in a bad spot here. Even though you're down by 1, the Jets haven't done much defensively in this game. You've got all your timeouts and plenty of time to march down the field. If you use the clock properly, you can get the ball back, even if this doesn't work out. Of course, you want it to work out, but if you don't get into field goal range, it is an option. Plus, if you do use the clock properly, you can ensure the fact that the Jets never get it back, and you can walk it off like what the Buccaneers did to the Jets earlier in the season. The ball is in your court. I like your odds a lot. With the timeouts and the clock the way it is, and with how strong Evan McPherson's leg is, I'll take your chances. So, come on, Coach Taylor. Let's see how you draw this one up.
You know, offenses these days only need about 30 seconds.
Chase Brown's trying to spring one, gets into the second level. And it's just adding to the importance of this game. Cincinnati trying to get themselves back in the conversation in the AFC North. This is one that you can't afford to miss.
Well, it's a huge game because as high as the vibe has been here for Cincinnati coming out of that Thursday night game, you know, after pretty much being almost a lost season, all the optimism and enthusiasm and everything that Flacco's done for this offense and this team, well, this is one that you can't afford to drop if you're the Bengals.
Flacco up the seam. That one deflected in the end. My goodness.
Okay, so where's the urgency? You're not in field goal range just yet. Not exactly the time to run out the clock. You do realize that you might need that time later, right? You went into a huddle and took 30 seconds off the clock? You gave the Jets defense a chance to substitute and catch their breath? That was dumb. I wouldn't have slowed it down just yet, but okay. You've still got your timeouts in case anything goes wrong. As long as you don't run the ball here for some reason, you're okay.
Cincinnati needs about 18 yards, maybe 17 to get into the field goal range of McPherson.
Good job. You just ensured the fact that the Jets win the game if they get it back, all for a play that never had a chance at getting the first down or getting you into field goal range. You wasted all that clock and lost a timeout. And now, you've got to be perfect on this drive, or else the game is over. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say that you're not going to be perfect on this drive, and this game is going to be over, and you're legitimately going to give the Jets their first win of the season. Prove me wrong.
The Jets will have safety help.
Day comes down to this for the Bengals. 4th and 9. Flacco protected. Flacco's pass incomplete.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of the Cincinnati Bengals head coach, Zac Taylor. This man is so bad, you guys. He has to be one of the worst coaches to ever make it to a Super Bowl. And the only reason he hasn't been fired yet is because the Bengals have, quite possibly, the cheapest and most incompetent ownership in the NFL. You're telling me you lost the game where you put up 38 points against the Jets? You put up 38 points against a team that's averaging about 16 points per game over the past week, hasn't scored a non-garbage time touchdown entering this game since September, is winless, and has a starting quarterback that the owner doesn't even want, and you somehow lost? That falls on you. That falls on some atrocious coaching especially down the stretch, because there is a right way to handle a 2-minute drill, and then there is a wrong way to handle a 2-minute drill. And to say that you chose the wrong way would be putting it lightly. If this game doesn't show the Bengals that they need to fire their coach, I don't know what will. So with that being said, let's take a look at why taking a ton of time off the clock and then running the ball when you're not even close to field goal range is a really bad idea. When you have all of your timeouts, you have a ton of security blankets. When you run a 2-minute drill down by 1 or 2 points, where a field goal will win it, the goal should be twofold. Get into range, and if you can't, at least give yourself another possession. You don't need to chuck it deep every play by any means, but you need to show some tempo until you get into range. And then you can slow it down and try to kill the clock. It's almost like in golf, if you're in match play and you're on the final hole and you're down by 1. You come up to the tee and you're going to go with your driver because you need to find a way to make up a stroke. Then your opponent chokes and it's 2 consecutive balls into the water. Now you've got the advantage, and you can play conservatively after that, not making any risky swings or approaches. Once you get in that zone, you can force the Jets to take timeouts, and you can play for the walk-off field goal. But until you get in that zone or close to it, and the burden shifts to the opponent, you need to be aggressive and give yourself as many chances as you can to get into range, while also giving yourself some leeway if it doesn't work. Because let's say you do what any smart coach would have done in that spot, which is to go quickly on first down and not call a run on 2nd and 10. If we assume it takes 15 seconds from the end of the last play to call the next play, if you're going no huddle, you're snapping the ball with 1:05. If the ensuing 4 plays are all incomplete passes and you don't get the first down, you can still get the ball back. Granted, it's not going to be easy because you can't allow a single first down the rest of the way, but you can get it back with a couple of plays to get into field goal range. You give yourself a bonus possession if you absolutely need it. Not saying it's ideal by any means or very realistic, but at least that security blanket is there for you. But if you don't go up tempo, if you play it super nonchalantly and then run the ball on 2nd and long, burning a timeout in the process and killing all that time, that security blanket is gone. And considering the fact that you were moving the ball well at the start of the drive when you were using tempo, to not continue doing that just seemed like a massive mistake. And this is not me saying that you should never run the ball in this spot. Heck, the Bengals ran the ball on 2nd down earlier in the drive. The difference was that in that spot, it was 2nd and short. Yes, I want the security blanket available with me when it comes to managing the time and potentially getting a possession again if things go haywire. But the most important thing is the possession you've currently got. And the goal in the possession is to get a first down and get a new set of downs to work with. 2nd and short? Fine. Run the ball, get the first, go from there. But on 2nd and 10, in a long spot like this, and with under a minute to go, what does this accomplish? You're going to have to burn a timeout, since a run, by design, is likely not getting out of bounds. You're not going to pick up the first, meaning you're going to have to throw on 3rd and 4th down if it comes to that. And because you wasted all that time earlier by letting the clock run down before first down, because you're still on the minus side of the 50 and are in your own territory, your throws are going to be down the field anyways. Would you rather have 3 chances and 3 timeouts to get a completion? Or 2 chances and 2 timeouts to do that? You want the bigger number in both. You want the security blanket, and you want the increased number of chances. If you're just going to do that anyways, by running it, you're not getting significantly closer to field goal range. You're not getting the chunk yardage that you need, and you're shooting yourselves in the foot by giving yourself no breathing room whatsoever if it fails from a clock standpoint. There are only 2 instances where you should be running the ball on a design play in a spot like this. Number 1, you're in a short enough situation where you can get the first down, which is why I had no problem with the run on 2nd and 3. If you can realistically expect to get a new set of downs, I'm fine with it. Number 2, you're already in range, and you force the other team to burn their timeouts, or you try to kill the clock, and you don't want to take any chances with a big negative play. This run on 2nd and 10 in your own territory? Obviously, that doesn't apply on point 1 or point 2. This run was pointless. Completely and utterly pointless. And it played to the Jets' advantage, which, as a good rule of thumb, if you're calling plays and the plays actually help the other team out, then you should probably call some different plays. Now, you might be saying when it comes to the clock management, the Bengals intentionally wanted to burn as much time as possible so the Jets couldn't get the ball back themselves. And to that I say that the logic in that makes no sense whatsoever. At least, not with where they were positioned on the field. Let's say the Bengals went quickly, like any normal team does in that spot, and they were able to get into field goal range with about 50 seconds left. How are the Jets getting it back? In what universe are the Jets getting it back? The Jets take a timeout after the play that gets them into field goal range. Then the Bengals run it 3 times, and the Jets only have 2 timeouts left. So 40 seconds is coming off on one of them, and the Bengals will be kicking on the final play of the game. Unless the Bengals got a 50-yard chunk play on the very first play of the drive, which they didn't, as long as you stay in bounds, the Jets aren't touching the ball again if you get into field goal range. And that's why the idea of the Bengals trying to kill the clock made no sense at all. You were worried about a scenario that didn't exist. Zac Taylor worried about a scenario with these play calls and with this lack of urgency that, plain and simple, didn't exist. You had the security blanket to get the ball back yourself if you failed. And you threw it away, or I guess ran it away, because you were worried about the Jets potentially having an extra possession if you scored. Even though you weren't in scoring position, or anywhere close to that, I might add, and even though the Jets wouldn't have gotten that possession anyways. Zac Taylor makes no sense sometimes. No one asked him about it in the post-game press conference for some reason. Not sure why no one asked him about that final drive at the end, so we can only speculate as to why he called it the way that he did. Either way, if the Bengals miss the playoffs, they'll look back at this game and this moment as the reason why. They had this game in the bag, and they blew it because of one of the worst 2-minute drills of the season. It was a drill without purpose. It was a drill that was contradictory with every single play. It was a drill designed to prevent the Jets from doing something that they never would have gotten the chance to do in the first place. It was a drill without any concept of what a drill in this spot should look like. Bottom line, this was bad. Really freaking bad. So what did we learn from all of this? Don't take your time and go nonchalantly in a 2-minute drill if doing so is going to hurt you. Don't run the ball on 2nd and long if you're going to lose your security blanket and you're nowhere close to the target line that you need to be at. Don't run a 2-minute drill with the intent of preventing a scenario that was never going to happen. Almost like spending your life savings volcano-proofing your home when you live in Nebraska. And if you've got a chance to get the ball back if things go wrong, and you're going to throw that chance away when you're not even close to the target line, then you better be darn perfect with how you call the game, because you've got no room for error and no wiggle room whatsoever. If you're calling plays in a drill that help the other team out and hurt your team, then you're doing something wrong. And safe to say, Zac Taylor was doing it wrong here. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Check out our live streaming schedule for the next few days. We're live every single day on this channel, whether we're covering a sporting event or playing GeoGuessr or just taking your requests. So make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single time that we go live and so that you can join this community. Also, thanks to all our members and our Patreon supporters who get exclusive perks like their name at the end of each video, members-only Q&A streams, and cool emojis to use on videos and during streams. See how you can join this community and become a member or a Patreon member by clicking the link in the description below.